Hello, everybody. Welcome to Makeflix and Tempe Digital's production of welcoming, I'm making a big deal out of this, Chris Seaver's box set, Dirty Dozen, as well as other titles. Hold on. MULVA double feature. We got that. We have the Filthy McNasty quadrilogy. Who knew? And we also have the WEIRDSIES on VHS and DVD. And we want to celebrate all of that today because Makeflix is putting this out and it's amazing. But we're having this celebration kind of party thing right now. So thank you for joining us. I want to bring on my friend and director, Chris Seaver. I'm going to ask him a few questions and then you guys are going to ask him a few questions. So start thinking now. Do yourself a favor. Get the questions in there. Get them to Chris. Find out the things that you've always wanted to know because I plan on. Welcome, Chris Seaver.
Hello, Debbie.
Hello. Oh, there you are. Oh, hello.
I'm here.
How you doing?
Just the greatest.
Are you? Are you excited about it? Okay, wait. Before, I was thinking, do I do the introduction that everybody already knows? Chris Seaver started making movies when he was 14. You know, he always liked ice cream, you know, that kind of thing. And I thought, no, let's get right to the good stuff that I want to be able to talk to you about.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Hey, man, let's get thick.
let's get to the thick. And by the way, I'm not going to talk about the stuff that we talked about in a previous video that's on the box set, because we did the whole thing. So why give that away?
And it's wonderful.
And it's wonderful.
It is.
So why mess with that? So first of all, I want to, okay, before I'm going to go forward in time instead of back in time. And I'm just going to straight up ask you, when you started making movies, yes, at 14, I'm going there. Would you ever think that there would be a day where someone like J.R. Bookwalter, Makeflix, Tempe Digital would say to themselves, like Clint Eastwood, like Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, this man deserves a box set? Did you think that this would happen?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm, you know, when it all came about, it just, you know, I didn't quite, even when JR and I were just talking about it at first, I didn't quite grasp what he was about to do, which was go in and digitally, you know, restore and in some cases reconstruct the movies that I made for Tempe for a decade, you know. And it didn't become real until I was sitting down with him and I was signing 500 slipcases, you know, and I was thinking like, oh, this is so bizarre that this stuff is now on Blu-ray for the first time.
That's what I mean. Like, it's so amazing because really, like, not just the fact that it was remastered, that, you know, he spent all of his time, and like, I've seen him work, and he's not someone, oh, gee, that's good enough. He'll sit there for months and work on something until it's right. So, I mean, what a compliment to have somebody, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I watched over 2 nights. I watched everything in the box set, and I was like amazed, you know. I was like, we don't deserve such majesty.
Well, you do. Honestly, you do, because it never ceases to amaze me. Although, as you know the story, which, hey, get the box set and you can watch that video. I'm not going to go into it now, but I mean, no, it doesn't surprise me. But at the same time, it's like, you know, just to think, because not everybody gets the box set. And I know there's other releases too, like the Filthy McNasty, and the MULVA, and the one that, you know, the WEIRDSIES, which I haven't seen yet, and I will see as soon as it arrives. But I'm very excited about that one. And that's a standalone. Oh, there it is. Yeah. VHS, DVD. Oh, and Blu-ray. Sorry, and Blu-ray. And this is like supposed to be really an amazing movie.
It's, you know, we shot it in 2015. And at that time, it was sort of the culmination of working with this group, these people that I consider my family. So it was like a culmination of everything that we have been through all those years. And for us at the time, 2015, it was the best thing that we did. It was our favorite film that we as a collective had done. And, you know, it got like the best reviews out of anything I had ever done over the years. It played at festivals and it won an award, but nobody saw it.
Yeah.
It's been sort of just sitting with me for 6 years.
So did you actually release it prior to the Makeflix release now?
Just like some screeners at a convention, or like if people would get, I would do these like Christmas or Halloween bundles of some of the stuff that like is hard to get for fans. Like if they needed to fill in the gaps, I had like a lot, like the Heather and Puglies and things like that.
Yeah.
That aren't out officially. And so I would like throw it in there as like a, hey, you know, please, this is our new film. Please, you know, check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's. And so it was like awesome, you know, when JR was like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, because I know that he loved it. So it's not a surprise that he gave it like its own sort of standing ovation on every type of release. You know what I mean? Like it's just VHS, Blu-ray, DVD, everything. Just go.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. That's a nice thing.
It is. I'm happy that it's going to be officially out there and people can see it. I mean, have we got better things in us that we will do in the future? I'm sure we do, but up to that point, 2015, I mean, it's something that we're all really proud of. It's not like, I know some fans who have seen it are like, yeah, it's good, but I prefer the grosser stuff, and you know, because it's gross, but it's far more like I would say it's the most mainstream Chris Seaver movie without compromising what a Chris Seaver movie is.
Right.
You know?
Right. Totally get it. With that said, going back and thinking about all of the movies that you've made, I'm not going to ask, oh, was there one that you didn't like? I mean, I know that there's at least one that I've heard you talk about that, you know, things didn't go perfect or whatever.
There's many I don't like.
Oh, okay. Well, what would you not do that you did had you have the chance? And I'm not talking about like learning lessons like an actor. Oh, I got better as an actor or a director. But I mean, like, what's something, if there's something that you would say, oh, hell, I would never do that again? Anything?
You know, I think that sometimes hating one of the projects that I've done can come right down to just my feeling at the time, the making of the project, the pressure that I put on myself, because I think it needs to outdo the last thing we did.
Right.
And then I get so frustrated and so stressed, and I mean, you've seen me have panic attacks and things of that nature, and it just ends up not turning out the best. And you know, and I think it falls squarely on me, and you know, putting that pressure on me, putting the pressure on the group, and thinking that we always have to you know, one up the last thing, when we don't. We just got to make a good movie, and sometimes that suffers. And you know, so yeah. And then there's other times where other forces can make the production a nightmare.
A nightmare. Yes.
As you know, Debbie, these Chris Seaver movies are not to be taken lightly. We shoot in 2 to 3 days, which is moronic. And I can tell you this, that those days are over. Like we just cannot do it that way anymore.
So I got the best of you? Because those days are over?
I don't think so.
And now you're going to drag it out to like 2 months or something? That's crazy. I'm glad I got in when I did.
Because I feel like if you gave us at least a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks to shoot a movie and give us a little budget, whew, look out.
Right.
You know? Imagine, Debbie.
It's endless. But okay, so here's the interesting thing, that some people who watch your movies, just like in you know, I'm not getting into like the trauma references here, but I know Lloyd gets it a lot too, so that's why I bring it up. But when people watch your movies, the people, you know, fans or newbies, whatever, they just watch it and they think they're having a lark. Like, this is nothing but sheer fun. And so to hear you talk about what you go through and what you've been through to make these movies, not all of them, but some of them, right? The pressure got up from the last one. The last one was nuts, you know, and who knew? Who would really know that unless you shared that kind of information? I mean, like I say, people probably look at the body of your work and just say, he's just having a grand old time every single day. Yeah. Like, you know, I would love to be Chris Seaver. That sort of brings me into, do you know, much like, I mean, you started making movies when you were 14.
Well,
like
actually, when I was 7.
7. Most
but
people can't decide if they want peanut butter sandwich or cheese sandwich at 7.
When I was 14, that's when I called it low budget pictures. So that was the birth of LBP when I was 14, 1991, and my aunt made like T-shirts with the logo on it.
That's awesome.
But all before that, yeah, it was just like, you know, backyard Freddy and Jason movies with my friends and family, and just making goofy Monty Python type stuff, and you know, with the family video camera, you know.
And never thinking that you couldn't do it because you had to do it, right?
I was just, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, this is it. I want to do this, and I just always pursued it. I mean, I did like other things here and there. I did for a good period of time. I was really good at drawing, so I did like comics, my own comics, and I sent stuff to like Marvel and Image at the time and things like that. And I had a ska band for 3 years in the mid 90s, you know, so I did the music thing. But all through that, it just, there was the, man, I can't stop making these dumb movies, you know, just what I was going to do. And I haven't really looked back, unfortunately, you know.
Yes. Well, and many of us are grateful for that. And I'm sure that you've had like a lot of people tell you that you've inspired them to make movies. Yeah. That must happen to you a lot.
Yeah. I mean, much more when, you know, we were actually out there and sort of roaming the countryside at conventions and whatnot. And I guess in the halcyon days of LBP, it was quite fruitful, and people were really, you know, I was getting a lot of emails and messages and letters. Some of the letters I've kept because they are quite moving and emotional and kind of mean a lot. But yes, we have, you know, and it's silly to think about the stuff, this dumbass, goofy shit that is somehow touching somebody out there in whatever way it is. And they're like, you know, you helped me get through this, or you made me want to pick up a camera and all that good stuff. Much like all the stuff I was seeing. You know, I was lucky enough to grow up in a small town where the mom and pop video store, I mean, not only did it have all the horror and weirdness that you could want, but it also, Video Connection was renting out shot on video horror movies. And so imagine renting this stuff as a kid who's making movies in his backyard with his camera, and you see this stuff and you're just like blown away. Like, I couldn't imagine that my stuff could even be in a video store one day, you know? So I have a hard time when somebody does say, your movies meant a lot to me and this, that, and the other thing, because I just think of myself as, hey, I'm this nerdy man-child who makes movies with his buddies. But then I think about all the stuff that inspired me and the people that inspired me, and getting to talk to and or work with the people that inspired me growing up. Like, what a trip. So then I get it. Then I understand it. And I'm like, okay, that it doesn't matter if it's scrotal vengeance. That means something to somebody in some way. Yeah. So, yeah.
Anal paprika means something to somebody, right? I mean, it does. Yeah. There was more than one. How many anal paprikas were there? 3.
3.
Because 1 is not enough.
No.
How many scrotal vengeances?
It's 1.
Really?
Thankfully. Yeah.
Wow. I'm kind of
And you're in Scrotal Vengeance
yes.
and Anal Paprika 3.
Yes. Titles that I get asked about to this day.
I'm sure.
And they, you know, I say, but they're comedies. And they go, sure they are, Debbie. Sure they are. I believe you. But I love it because the truth is, I mean, watch them and you'll see.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, did I write something down that, oh, yeah, I already asked you that. Oh, well, you know, a lot of people always say, is there, like, including myself, fell in the trap. A lot of people say, oh, what do you wish you could change? On the other side, and besides the, excuse me, I haven't seen it, so I'm like, I can't, like, grasp this. The WEIRDSIES, damn it. See, I haven't seen the Weird, which I will see because it's on its way to me now. So
please do. I
planted in my head. So
I would love to know what you think.
Yes, I would love to. Besides that one that I know that you're very proud of, looking back at the Seaververse, what would you pick out as a favorite that you watch and you still say, there's just something about that? It doesn't have to be like the best made or, you know what I mean? But which is the one, and let's stay in the box set. Okay. So when people buy it, they'll know which one you like best. The Dirty Dozen box set.
And by the way, there's 13 films on here.
Of course. Wait, I got all the list. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, the Dirty 13.
9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, there is. Because Taint Light's on there. And when I saw Taint Light, I was like, and why the hell am I not in Taint Light? If I was in Anal Paprika and Scrotal Vengeance, why in the good Lord am I not in Taint Light? But that's another question for another time. What's your favorite on the
maybe watch the film and then say that.
Okay, it's on its way, so I'll definitely do that. No, what's your favorite on the box set?
I mean, quite honestly, I haven't. It's been years since I've watched this stuff. Until, you know, I got to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, quite honestly, I think there's something funny in every film.
Yeah.
But standouts for me, definitely MULVA 2, Film Crew,
mm-hmm.
Wet Heat, Filthy McNASTY 4, Teen Ape Goes to Camp. I mean, there's something to be said about the 1-2 punch of MULVA 1 and Filthy 1. You know,
right.
like, I mean, those two movies,
yeah,
as you and I have talked about, really put LBP out there, really on the map, if you will. And I know people love those movies, and they're 100% is funny stuff in there. But I think just as a you know, mid-40s guy who's been making this stuff for so long, you look back and you go, you know, there's just a small part that's like, man, why did that stuff have to get out?
Why did it have to get out? I know.
Me saying yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But
not including the box set. Okay, we're going to get away from the box set just for 1 second. Is there a movie that, say you had like so much money, money didn't mean anything to you? Is there a movie that you would love to buy out of the world? Like it would evaporate out of people's homes. It would just go away. You don't even have to say the title. Is there one that you feel that way about?
Sure. Yeah.
Really?
So, listen, I've made 60 features and shorts. Yeah, like over 60 features and shorts. I don't like more than half of them. You know? I think there's probably, let's say there's 15, 16 movies that I actually really enjoy.
But But
So
that's a good average, though, really.
a plethora of things out there that I wish they weren't out there. But you got to look at it this way. Those things are what brought an audience to us.
Seriously.
You
There's
know?
people, I'm sure that what is not your favorite thing is a huge group of people's very favorite thing. Like,
Yeah,
they
like
just want to see that.
we don't like Quest for the Egg Salad too much. But I know for a fact there's actual fans out there of that movie who really enjoy it. What do you do? Like, you can't take that away from them. That's great.
No.
And maybe that sent us some new fans, So
Exactly.
who
And
cares
so,
what I don't like,
right.
At some point it's out of your hands, and
yeah, it's there to be seen. And
yeah.
there's not a place, or be it social media or physical place that I go where if I don't talk about you and your films, that there's always somebody, always, who says, I love Chris Seaver. I love his movies, and they know them. So that's an amazing thing. Okay, Alberto, Al, we both know Al, says Quest for the Egg Salad is hilarious. He loves it. See?
There you go. There you go.
Right on, Al. And I know Al has probably already ordered it. That's in the box set.
It absolutely is. And as as we said, I mean, Bookwalter restored this shit.
Yeah.
he really did something special with this box set. And the extras are fantastic. And so he ported over all the old extras. But man, I gotta tell you, there are some fantastic new features on this set. And Debbie, you and I are a part of that.
Really?
I think there's a 90
right up there. That's awesome.
90 minutes of you and I reminiscing.
Boy, we said it all. That's why I'm like trying not to even go there today.
Yeah, that's right. Wait until the fans discover what you and I talked about.
I know. I'm not even like touching anything. Al also said it's gone now, but he just added that he watched oh, there it is. His son, he showed his son, is it Lucio, Al? I hope I'm saying his name right. Filthy McNasty on Tubi just the other day, and his box set is coming. Thank you, Al. Appreciate that.
Interesting.
He showed his son and Filthy McNasty. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
Good parenting. Seriously. Good.
My 14-year-old hasn't even seen Filthy McNasty yet.
Is that right? Hey, thank you for bringing that up. What's the deal with your children and when they're allowed to see your movies?
One child.
Was that?
I got one child, and one child is enough.
Oh, only one.
One.
I thought maybe you snuck another one in, but okay. Yeah, one is good. Your son, will he be able to watch your movies at a certain age or never?
I mean, he certainly can, but I got to tell you, he has zero interest. River, he's in, like 4 or 5 of the movies, and he's quite funny in some of them. But he just, he looks at me like, this stuff is stupid. It's his friends that think I'm cool, and River just thinks I'm like dad.
He'll probably grow up to be like, an astronaut or something.
I doubt it. Yeah, he's spreading, man. He's out there gleaming those cubes. He's Mr. Skateboarder.
Oh, but well, that's like in the same world as Ska and LBP, no?
He's gonna skateboard to the moon.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. I'm hoping that, once he gets to his 20s, he'll want to, all right, let's sit down and watch this crap, But it's funny because he knows, he also considers everybody his family.
Yeah.
He grew up with all of this around him.
Right.
So they're all just extended family to him. So he knows every single person he sees, like when I'm doing stuff and whatnot. And when they come back, you know, year after year, it's like, oh, family. But when it comes to like, hey, you want to help us make this? He's like, nah.
Yeah. Do you want to star in this movie? Nah, not really.
Hey,
Sorry,
come here. Yeah, do
Sorry.
some PA work for us. Nah.
Yeah. I'll do some voiceover. Hey, just for fun, I want to read all the titles on the box set.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
BONEJACK and Teen Apes, Dirty Dozen include 13 movies for your watching pleasure. MULVA Zombie Ass Kicker, that's part 1. MULVA 2, Kill Teen Ape, part 2. That's disc 1. Disc 2, Filthy McNasty, Filthy McNastier, Filthy McNastiest, and Filthy McNasty 4, Carnal Holocaust, disc 2. Disc 3, Quest for the Egg Salad, Destruction Kings, Carnage for the Destroyer. Perhaps a disc that you will find to be your favorite and one that Chris will skip over. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll all come back and talk about this. Disc 4 has Teen Ape Goes to Camp, which I've never seen and I cannot wait. Film Crew, Wet Heat, and the movie that I'm pissed off that I wasn't in. It's really friggin' pissed off. I can't swear on here, but Taint Light.
Yeah.
You just don't care, do you?
Oh.
You know, I swear. And then, of course, the Weirdsies, which we've talked about. But, okay, so all this, and then also you have the Filthy McNasty special set and the MULVA special set and all that stuff.
Yeah, if you just can't take, if you can't take too much sievage, then you can just get yourself a little sack full of sievage.
There you go.
Little sack full of sievage.
Look at that. That's a really nice cover. Filthy McNasty. That's hot.
Yeah.
That's a Blu-ray remastered. What's that?
Look at that.
Price? I can't see. Oh, me and Nasty, Mr. Nasty. So, okay, so who says this? My Dirty Dozen box set, the Weirdsies, and the VHS copy of the Weirdsies arrives on Tuesday. So excited, says the Back Archive. So thank you, Back Archive. That's awesome. 4-disc sounds. Sean.
4 sounds.
That's pretty cool. So what do you want to add to the before we head over? Maybe there's some questions. I don't know. Guys, if you have questions for Chris Seaver, now's the time to think of them, write them down, send them over to us. There's got to be like a million questions for Chris because let's face it, there's so many filmmakers out there, and there's so many filmmakers who, and we've talked about this, like Chris has struggled, but there's so many people who think of every reason in the world not to do what they love, whether it's filmmaking, making music, you know, drawing, writing, whatever the case may be. Chris is like this great example of through emotional trauma, through like against all odds, against, you know, no money trauma. I mean, everything he's always created. So there's great, you know, questions to ask him that he'd be able to answer.
The starving artist is real.
It's very real. Derek Rogers, I wish Debbie Rochon autographed the box set too.
Yeah.
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
That could be in the future, but right now the gold pen is the director himself, Chris Seaver. Wayne Rice is looking forward to this release.
It's something, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth it. It's a hell of a set.
Hell of a set. And tell us a little bit, seeing you've seen it, and I'm about to get mine, but a couple days late. Tell us about the extras.
Well, it has all of the audio commentaries that were recorded in the past for the past releases. It's got some bloopers and behind the scenes.
Including the one we did for Filthy? Or did we do it for MULVA at Filthy Shoot? Remember we did one?
Yep, that's there. That's in there.
Cool, cool.
And then there's some new stuff. And there's some new interviews with Casey Bowker, my cousin, who played T-Nate.
Yeah.
And myself.
Love Casey. How's he doing anyway?
He's moist, man. He's real moist. He's got a 2-year-old daughter now. And
beautiful girl.
Yeah. But things are, there he is right now.
Yeah. Can you read that what he says there? Can you see that?
I heard rumors of a Seaververse comic book series in the works that would continue the adventures of those characters in illustrated form. Can you comment? No.
Oh, seriously?
He's he's
rolling out the inside information.
He's in love with comic books, and he really wants me to do a comic book of these characters and whatnot. But so the new extras, we've got you and I reminiscing. Mm-hmm. We've got a retrospective on the Filthy McNasty films. We've also got a retrospective on the MULVA flicks. Mm-hmm. And
by the way, just can I add before you go on? Just pause. MULVA 2 is shot for shot replication of Kill Bill 1 and 2, shot for shot. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and lovingly reconstructed for this Blu-ray. Yep. It looks phenomenal for mini DV, you know. And then there's a sort of look back at the Splatter Rampage LBP years, you know, the decade that was that chunk of our life, you know. And that's all new on the discs as well.
Wow. Is Casey in any of the extras?
Yep.
Oh, because I mean, everybody involved. Meredith, I mean, there's so many amazing people, part of your film family that are so cool. But Casey, he was just like one of the first people that I met. So he's just something extra special because he's always been there. You know what I mean?
He's something.
Yeah. Yeah. he's so fun. Up for anything. I mean, and a lot of the actors too, other actors, not just saying only Casey, but man, if you get actors like you had that are up for anything, like I'm talking about comedy, like not something that's, you know, harmful or this or that, but just that's amazing. It's so hard to find that. So many people, especially nowadays, are so concerned with, you know, how they're going to come off, you know, oh, I want to be tough, or I want to be sexy, or I want to be whatever, fill in the blank. But back then it was just like, yeah, I'll paint on a mustache, or yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, that's fun.
I mean, we're still doing it. I mean, I haven't gotten rid of those people. they're my family.
Chaz, I want to see you too. Chaz, I like that he uses Chaz. Chaz Voltaire. Yeah. And I think Mike said he's looking forward to the box set too. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you, Chris. Seriously, there's no Debbie Rochon box set, okay? There's a Chris Seaver box set. Yeah. But that is like so amazing to me because you know what? You deserve it. 'Cause over the years, I have seen you toil. I have seen you work. I have seen you push past all things imaginable and unimaginable. And still, like, you're still creating. That's like the life of an artist. So I truly mean that you deserve this. And of course, the great, you know, amazingness of Makeflix. Thank God for Makeflix.
It was very fortuitous because this is also the 30th anniversary of me doing this under LBP and 10 years of Warlock Home Video. So it's crazy, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was a 30-year anniversary.
30 years from when I started Low Budget Pictures in 1991. Yeah.
That's right, 91. Do we have a shirt to commemorate? Joe, There you go. Sievage from the Meter Man to Makeflix.
Meter Man is a 1994 shot on video gem of mine.
Oh yeah, Meter Man, like literally a meter man.
Yeah, he's a killing meter. He takes vengeance.
I love it. You were doing the real stuff, shooting, you know, what you knew. How did Chris manage to get started working with Debbie? Oh, well, you could do a little bit, but I'm telling you, the box set explains everything.
Really, I mean, it's like a 90-minute talk with Debbie and I, and we really go through everything.
Yeah.
But it was yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, it was, geez, it was 21 years ago.
That is crazy. I will add a story that I didn't say in our talk that's on the box set. I also found it, I was just thinking about it this morning. I was thinking, oh, I got to mention to Chris, do you remember the time that Lloyd and I drove in a huge snowstorm? Yep. And we drove up to be, well, I wouldn't say extras, but, you know, just side bit parts
MCs.
for MCs, okay.
For the karaoke kid.
The karaoke kid.
Yes.
Up, was it Wellington?
Wellsville.
New York. Close, but yeah, Wellsville.
2006.
Yep. Well, from New York City to Wellsville, me and Lloyd, snowstorm, driving like, you know, 5-10 miles an hour, getting to the Chris Seaver shoot.
Which is insane.
And, you know, we made it. Like, we were dedicated, and that doesn't answer the question, but it says, okay, as different as these people are, they're all kind of coming from the same place. Is like, this is the most important thing. Like, Chris is obviously working that way, and we know that Lloyd works that way, and I've always worked that way. And so, like, you get there. And like the snowstorm was not stopping us. It was a couple times that yeah. But
I remember, like, I was shocked that you were still coming.
Yeah.
You know, and at first I thought that, like, I had said to Lloyd, I said, you know what, we'll pay for the flights for you two to come up. Ooh. And he goes, no, we'll drive. You know, and yeah, because he was like, save the money, for the production, you know, and it didn't start, the snowstorm, of course, until you guys were coming.
I know. So I know. I
honestly was like, I will be okay if they don't come. Like, you know, like,
right.
This ain't worth death.
Yeah, the stress is not worth that. But it was awesome to still do it anyway. It was just sort of like a moment in time that I remembered. I was like, damn, like, you know, of all the many stories, there's that one too. There's so many of the stories. John Wood, thank you for saying that he wants the Debbie Rochon box set. We will get to that, but here's a question for Chris from John Wood. Which movie of yours is your favorite? Mine's MULVA 2, he says. So, yeah.
The WEIRDSIES
that's
is
pretty
my
clear,
favorite.
right? And the WEIRDSIES.
You can get it now on Blu-ray, DVD, and even VHS from Makeflix.
It says 1999.
Which is
pretty sure that's what it is on Blu-ray.
We shot this in 2015, and it's finally coming out. It's got brand new extras, and it's I don't know. We're all really proud of it. It's real, really something, really something.
Someone was going to ask a question. Yeah, let's be, even though we have been already, super clear. WEIRDSIES is not in the box set, so you have to buy that one separate. Does Seaver sell out on the WEIRDSIES?
You'll have to.
Policeman stiff. Yes.
You'll have to see. You'll have to see.
Do you sell out?
Read what the WEIRDSIES is about, and then you tell me if I've sold out.
I don't even understand. I mean, I know, obviously know what it means, but I'm like, no comprende.
Yeah,
No
wait until you see it,
comprende.
Debbie. Wait until you see it.
Okay, I can't wait. Darcy says, damn, it sucks. I'm working and I can't properly watch this. I guess my question is the obvious one. Will there be a new Chris Seaver movie in the future?
Yes. Yes. You know, we haven't made a proper film. I guess technically 2016, we did a film called Death O'Lantern, the remake. It's not that good, but it looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of count the Weirdsies as the last thing we've done. So really, like 6 years, we haven't really made a movie, but I've written a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite a few things that I would like to make. And there's specifically two things that could be made with proper
Would
time.
one of them include Taint Light Part 2 starring Debbie Rochon? Would that be one of the two things in the works?
No, but
I'm asking because I'm not asking. Somebody's in the chat room is asking that, not me.
but one of them does indeed have the return of Debbie Rochon.
Oh, let's get that
and,
one made.
And you couldn't even say yes because you're already written in it.
I mean,
That's
I could
me,
say no
that's
or
me
yes.
assuming that, of course, Debbie will do this, so I'm going to write it in anyway.
Done. Well, you know, it's already done. Do Debbie and Chris, okay, Spaceman Stiff now says, do Debbie and Chris get along okay in the set, or are their personalities too incompatible and they fight all the time? What the fuck do you have to say, Chris Seaver?
I'll say this. Honestly, Debbie, for you who asked this, Debbie is one of the most down-to-earth, nicest human beings that I have ever met and that has ever graced our shooting sets. You know, and I do talk a lot about this in the documentary that we have on the Blu-ray, but Debbie, it could have been a very intimidating situation for me. And right from the get-go in 2000, you, Debbie, made it very clear that it didn't matter how silly, how absurd, how goofy it was. You were there to help us out. You were there to do the work. And it just so happened you had a wide open sense of humor. Yep. And you laughed at all the stupidity and the weirdness. And that made it so much easier and stressless for me. And it was kind of like instantly like, okay, Debbie can get down with this absurdity. And that's honestly how it was every single time you would come to shoot a movie with us. You were just part of the fam. You were part of the group. You laughed at everything. We talked about a lot of deep shit. We talked a lot about a fun, stupid shit. We just had a really good time. And there has never been a point where Debbie and I have butt heads.
No, there really hasn't. I mean, I've always loved Chris's approach to filmmaking. Just in other words, it's just really obviously indie. It's obviously very punk rock in a lot of ways, even though we like to call it ska because we both love ska. And it's not even a matter of like, oh, our personalities are just like they blend so well. Well, if they do, great, but it's like we both are appreciating the same things, like in the moment, like appreciating the film, appreciating like the adding to the jokes or understanding the jokes, and just working on stuff. And we're both there for I think the same reason. That's why it works so well together. And I mean, like, and the thing is too, I'm like we talked earlier. I mean, I've seen you just, you know, shaking with joy, and I've seen you really struggling. which is normal, by the way, is like the way it is, because you don't have, if you don't have, which very few people don't, but if you don't have a multi-million-dollar film, you don't have like all of those people and bodies and, you know, sort of stress takers to block a lot of stuff for you. So you're taking it all. Like you're as fun as the movie looks, it's like everything that's going on behind the scenes. It's like, you know, Chris has to like, he's like the sponge that has to absorb every single hit every single day. Doesn't matter if it's only a 3 or 4 day shoot, but you know, it could be like it's a pre and it's the during and it's the post. I mean, it's all of it. So, oh, and something else that I always loved, and you probably don't even do it anymore. You could answer me this. When we were shooting so many of those movies, you would, even though you would edit them, you would shoot them literally in sequence of the shots and perhaps even the cutaways. I'm not sure. I think, but I'm not sure. Do you still do that?
It's a little more coverage oriented now. We're still trying, you know, it's still fast, but it definitely, I have evolved into getting a few more things, but ultimately I still know how everything is going to cut. Like sometimes I argue with he's a good friend and part of the group, but he's our cinematographer, Clint Kelly. Sometimes I argue with him because, you know, he has one way of the way he thinks he needs to do something. And I'm like, Clint, I've done this, you know, like, just trust me, you know? Sit back and trust me. And so those situations where, you know, the old school way of doing things, I think can benefit what we're doing now. And that's a little tug of war, but ultimately, you know, I'm still there editing it. I still sort of know how it's going to cut. I still sort of see the way that I'm going to cut it as we're shooting it. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's a weird thing to see something that you make being cut by somebody else. And I know it happens to thousands of filmmakers, and that's just the normal way it is. But for me, I've always cut my own stuff, and you can tell when one of my things is not a Seaver cut, you know?
Absolutely.
So I would prefer to always cut my own work.
Well, that's
or
be
right there.
I mean,
right there.
Yeah. That's like having Final Cut, really. And also, and I want to get to the questions here, but I just want to say that I always really appreciated that about you. It's not like, oh, to be a great filmmaker, you have to shoot in sequence, including your cutaways and everything. No, but I always knew that there was something special going on in your brain, that you could even think like that. Because a lot of people can't even think in those terms, and they walk away, and it's not like maybe this has never happened to you, but they don't get the coverage. But you are literally thinking, you know, jokes, shot. This shot goes into this one. But you're so prepared that I think that there's a good lesson there. You may not think like Chris Seaver folks, young filmmakers or filmmakers in general, but there's something to be learned from having such clarity of the mind, like just really seeing what you want to make. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like seeing it so clear that you even know like what shot is gonna, you know, be the good cutaway shot and where to end it and stuff like that. I should ask the questions though. Enough about me talking. Casey Lorenzo says, any chance of more LBP releases on Blu-ray? Maybe a Dirty Dozen Part 2. That could be a Makeflix question.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you fans out there, do your diligence.
Do diligence and get the first one. Right.
Pick up the releases. Pick up the.
You
gotta get that box set.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, nice. I mean, listen, they're is definitely a possibility. There's some stuff that could be making its way to Blu-ray for the first time. You never know. Not just on the Makeflix side of things, but the Warlock proper. There might be some stuff that is hitting Blu-ray. I can say this, that for us in-house, like the DVD stuff is just getting phased out. So there's certain things that are going to be turned in to Blu-rays, and Makeflix may or may not be behind some of that. You never know.
but it's really good to have somebody really archiving your work, because putting the stuff on digital and remastering it, that's like another way of keeping it in the universe, really, so it just doesn't, because so many of the movies people can't find, and now you can just grab the box set, folks, and you've got like a really good head start. James, hi James. Edward's a really nice guy. Who are some of your favorite filmmakers, Chris? Any films that you draw inspiration from? Excellent question. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, James. I have loved your work since I was a teenager. I've seen it in the JR stuff. I am a fan. So it's interesting because the filmmakers that I love, I can't see the inspiration because they're so amazing and they do such different work. And they will be typical answers. Like, I love Steven Spielberg, all of his genre stuff. Here's something that most people may not know about me. And
Here we
it
go.
may be very silly to say, but
what?
I am a film fan of genre. I'm not a drama guy. The drama has to be in the genre some way, be it an over-the-top action movie, ridiculous comedy, horror, fantasy, science fiction, something like that. I tend not to enjoy movies that are real world things. Because I've always felt, so you're not going to get me saying, man, do I love, Philadelphia, or one of my favorite films is, Putney Swope, things like that. Like,
come on, Casablanca is your favorite movie ever. You told me this.
My thing is, I live in the real world. I don't want to go watch the real world.
Right.
Whether that be terms of endearment and dumb, to me, I don't want to go see a bunch of women crying for 2 hours. I just don't want to. And that's with anything dramatic like that. It might surprise people. I don't really like war movies. Again, because it's like, I don't want to go see something that did happen in our lifetime and the trials and tribulations of people getting murdered and and the shit that people went through in real life. I don't want to watch that. Now, if you throw some dragons and a slasher in there, absolutely I'll watch that.
Right.
Give me the drama of Lord of the Rings as opposed to the drama of Forrest Gump or something like that, So I tend to like the filmmakers that, well, like I said, yes, Spielberg has made some insane dramas, but I just can't do it. Give me Raiders of the Lost Ark. Give me E.T. Give me Jurassic Park. Close Encounters, which is my favorite Spielberg movie. Give me that stuff rather than Schindler's List or something like that. And then, but I love Robert Rodriguez. I love that guy. Like, that guy is, again, you don't see my work and go, he was inspired by Robert Rodriguez, but I just love that he does everything himself. I love that his stuff is just balls to the wall, ridiculous and full throttle and action packed, and I love that. And then I love John Carpenter. He is my favorite horror director. I think the guy, other than a few things, the guy can do no wrong when he did his movies.
What's your favorite movie of his?
The Thing.
Mine too.
I think it's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece. Seriously.
But I also, I love the Zucker brothers. Love the Zucker brothers. The Airplanes and the Naked Guns. Zucker Abrams Zuckers, with Hot Shots and Top Secret, all like the spoof, the old school 80s and early 90s spoof stuff. Love them. I love Monty Python.
Yes.
The Python Troupe are so funny. Huge inspiration.
Oh, man, do I love it. I know. And I remember seeing in the first MULVA all of the tips of the hat to Monty Python. Were you a fan of Fawlty Towers?
Wasn't Fawlty Towers, but on PBS.
It's very different. It was more more real, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, I was totally gravitating towards the absurd.
Yes.
Which was Monty Python and Benny Hill and things like that, which just appealed to me as a kid. So yeah, I mean, I could go on. There's a bunch more that I enjoy, but yeah.
Man, I just want to sit down and watch The Thing with you. I really do. I can do it right now.
Oh, please.
Dylan says it's going to come back. I love all your movies. You, Debbie, and JR rock. Thank you, Dylan. That's very kind. Thanks. Scrolling so fast. I lost what he say. Thanks for all your hard work. I bought the set and the WEIRDSIES. What made you to finally put out the Bone Ape Die? Was it Bone App Die Short? I don't know that one.
Bone App Die.
Debbie, I'm the guy who bought the cameo. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dylan. Yes, I remember. Yeah. Thank you. That's short.
So it's not really a short that's on there. It's raw footage.
Oh.
And JR asked if I still had the raw footage because it is the original Filthy McNasty. It's what I had written and then didn't like what we shot and then rewrote it as Filthy McNasty.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to get it. I'm telling you.
So there's about 40 some minutes that JR put together of the raw footage of Bone Appa Die, which is like a real, I mean, it's Filthy McNasty. I took some of the best stuff from what what was good out of Bone Appa Die and put it into Filthy McNasty.
Awesome. Nice to bring that up. That was good. Mike, are you thinking about doing cons post-COVID, Chris?
Yes, we have some booked.
Do you?
Yes, we are doing the Creature Feature Weekend in Gettysburg, PA.
Nice.
We're doing Cinema Wasteland in Strongsville, Ohio in the beginning of October. And then at the end of October, we're doing Monster Mania in Oaks, PA.
Well, a lot of PA stuff and Ohio stuff.
Yeah.
Like all with this new merch. That's awesome.
It's the 30th anniversary. We got to get out there and see if people still want us, still remember us. Some new fans, So
I hope to see you at a convention. I would love to do a panel with you.
Listen, we'll talk.
Or even just get your autograph. I'm happy. I just want you to stop
I'm not joking. I wrote a Debbie Rochon role in one of the things that I want to shoot.
All right.
And like I said, I just expected you were going to say yes.
Because you know me well. Derek says, congrats to Chris Seaver for the release. And I couldn't underscore that more, Derek. Absolutely true. Like, thank you so much. He met you at Monster Mania at Cherry Hill. Do you remember him? Derek Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know you do. I know you remember Derek Rogers because he's going to come up to you at the next Monster Mania and then you go, oh, and he's got the Dirty Dozen for you to personalize. He already has it signed, but now it needs to be personalized.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you going to be there with Makeflix, or is this like an?
This is, you know, Low Budget Pictures and Warlock Home Video. You know,
okay.
I'm trying to get some of the gang to come out who haven't done the shows in a long time, and see if we can get a little 30th reunion tour going. You know, for the show.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And get maybe a couple screenings.
Maybe, you know, if they want it.
Sure.
I don't know how well the Weirdsies would go over at a horror show.
Right.
Primarily gross comedy.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's fans of my stuff, you never know. They might go out to see it. So.
It is truly amazing. Well, you know what? First of all, I want to thank Chris Seaver taking the time to do this. Also, huge congratulations to Chris Seaver for having the box set, all these different releases. There's so many of them that you need to go over to Makeflix and check them out. Definitely get this stuff. So much of it you can't find. It's hard to find. Now you have it remastered. You have it on Blu-ray. You have all these extras. This is sort of like the kiss and hug to Chris Seaver, part one at least, and pretty massive kiss and hug, I'd say, with all these different discs. And
I mean, it's a decade of our work.
I know.
All in one spot.
all in one spot, man. So that's incredible. And so so people need to go to Makeflix to get these movies as we're wrapping up. And Chris, and thank you, John Wood, for watching. And Chris, do you have any like you know, parting things you want to say to folks on this beautiful release, live video put on by Tempe Digital, and Makeflix? Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, you know, I mean, first, of course, thank you for doing this, Debbie. It is awesome to still have a friendship with you after 21 years.
I'm just grateful that you're talking to me still. That's all. Keep it simple.
Yeah, and I just want to thank the fans who have stuck around for so long, and the fans who may have thought that we weren't making movies anymore, but are still making movies and have come back. And you know, I'll be the first to say it, that, you know, this stuff isn't high art. This stuff isn't the best cinema out there. I know exactly what I'm making. We all know exactly what we're making when we do this. We're really just trying to give people a fun, good time. And it is still, after all this time, it is still crazy to think that these films can affect people, and people are still discovering them. And that's awesome. And I hope that for years to come, there's you know, there's more Seavage to talk about. There's more releases on the horizon. There's new films to be made, and there's new fans to be made, and hopefully somebody 20 years from now says, you remember those Chris Seaver movies? you remember
those crazy Chris Seaver movies? I mean, like, you wouldn't believe it if, you know. So Derek says thanks, and a few people say thanks to you, and to, of course, JR, Makeflix, Tempe Digital, the entire works for putting this together. But I agree with you, Chris, and I think people need to keep making babies. Why? For no other reason than LBP needs a new generation of fans.
Of course.
So get out there and make some babies.
Yeah, man, we need new fans.
We need fans. So you gotta make them.
You can start getting your kids to watch them real young, thanks to Alberto. You know, little teenage fans for years to come. Little BONEJACK, you know, they're out there somewhere. They're popping up all over the place. Maybe some of my legitimate ones. Oh, Debbie, this was fantastic. This was moisturizing. I loved it. You and me, Debbie, we're right there next to, we are royalty. We're right there next to Dinty Moore beef stew and Grey Poupon. You and I, we're right there next to it.
Is our star ready to be put on the walk of
shame?
Shame? Because we're ready. We're ready.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to everybody who's watching this. Thank you to Makeflix again. Really, really appreciate this. Really awesome. Chris deserves this, and they are doing it. They put in so much work. Pick up the box set. Pick up any version. You've got the WEIRDSIES. You've got the look. I got my questions for Chris there. We've got the MULVA double feature, Filthy, Quadrilogy, and the box set Dirty Dozen, which actually has 13 and tons of extras. So hopefully we've sold you on that, and that's why we're here today. So anyway, thank you for watching, and happy release, Chris Seaver. Have a nice day. And we don't know.